Hello, my name is Praveen and I am here for giving you a lesson on disaster, natural disaster. Understanding natural disaster. What is a disaster? Actually, before understanding the disaster, we should know what is hazard. Hazard is a threat which is coming in future. So hazard is the future source of destruction or danger which has potential to damage what? Damage properties, damage lives, damage environment. So when a hazard occur, people have injuries, loss of lives, and property. If there is a destruction in property, there is loss of livelihood, that is jobs of people are lost, and there is a destruction of properties. And apart from that, environment loss. What kind of environment loss can be possible? Environment. In environment, animals and plant, that is flora and fauna. Flora are plants and fauna are animals, are lost. And finally, the pollution. It causes pollution. Hazard causes pollution. It may be water pollution or air pollution or soil pollution. So environment, people and property are damaged due to hazards. Hazard is a threat, that is a future course of action. Now come to disaster, our main concern. Disaster is something, it is an event that cause sudden disruption to the normal life of society. The communities, that is society, have lost their properties, have lost their lives, have injured, and have got their environment polluted. So this is the cause. So disaster occur. It is the result of combination of number of factors. How disaster come? First of all, let me explain you. Disaster, since disaster cause disruption in society, it is very sudden event. It occurs suddenly, and society has not capacity to cope with this disaster. That is why it happened on the large scale. That is why there is a management to it. Disaster management is a field where people start coping, start managing the things which have occurred after disaster, that is, this disruption is managed. So now exposure to the natural hazards. Existing condition of vulnerability and insufficient capacity to cope. These are the combination of factors that enlarge the disaster event. Okay? Let me show you another slide. Types of disaster. There are two kinds of disaster. One is a natural disaster that occur naturally, natural disaster, and another one is man-made disaster. How these both are different from each other, let me explain you. Natural disaster is caused by the natural phenomena on the earth, like inside energy of the earth, that is we call endogenous forces, that causes like a volcano, or exogenous forces like cyclones or anything that happen suddenly, that is flood. Flood is another natural disaster. I'll give you the detail, but now come to the man-made disaster. Man-made disaster is caused by humans. Activities of the humans on the earth, our planet, is functioning normally, but the activities of human and the interference of the humans with the forces, that is natural forces. This causes man-made disaster. Like explosions. When a mining site is exploded for mining, there is a loss of environmental flora and fauna there on the place. And apart from that, there is large scale industries everywhere in the world that causes water pollution, air pollution, and the vehicles, a large amount of vehicles are there present in the world that causes pollution like sound pollution and air pollution. So these are called man-made disasters. Man-made disaster, most prominent example is atom bomb, like nuclear bomb or any kind of war situation where disaster occur. So let me show you the natural disaster, our main topic. Natural disaster, there are many kinds of natural disaster. One is flood. Flood is caused by the water present in the river that causes flood. When there is an excess of water and there is a destruction of reservoir store the water, but if there is any destruction in this reservoir, water flows, or there is a flood in the river, it causes surrounding area to submerge in the water. This causes loss of agriculture produce, loss of livelihoods, loss of lives, and many things. In similar way, we can understand earthquake. Earthquake is a sudden disaster, is a sudden cause of disaster. So, and similarly, tsunami, drought, cyclone, landslide, volcano, and forest fire. Suppose there is a forest fire in a forest, there would be a loss of multiple diversity, multiple animals and plants lose their life in the forest fire. In volcano, what happens in volcano? There is a lava which is very hot and molten liquid coming out from the earth. Inside the earth, it comes out on the surface, and that causes a lot of pollution in the environment, as well as surrounding areas are destructed. Now landslide, when there is a mountain, due to heavy rainfall, a part of mountain is slide down, it causes a transport way to destruct, it causes nearby places or villages to destruct. So these are disasters, and there is a practice called management disaster management, which help people to cope with the disaster.